Good morning. It's Saturday morning. Time for our devotion. I'm getting ready to go and move Courtney into Lenore Rhine, so that's why I'm look like I look. We read the next couple of verses where Jesus sends the apostles out. These 12 Jesus sent out, instructing them, "Go nowhere among the Gentiles and enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." And it goes on with a long series of instructions, which we'll get to over the next several days. So ancient Israel was two kingdoms. It was originally one kingdom, but after King David died and Solomon took over, then it split at Solomon's death into two kingdoms. There was the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, typically referred to as Israel, that's the north, and Judah, that's the south. In New Testament times, which realizes like 1,000 years later, there are three regions. There's Galilee, up near the Sea of Galilee. South of Galilee, there's Samaria. And Galilee and Samaria together would have been the northern kingdom. And then there's Judah below that, or south of that. And there's a great deal of regional animosity among these regions and these peoples. The northern kingdom had been destroyed in 722 BC, taken away by the Assyrians. And every once in a while you hear people talk about the lost tribes of the house of Israel. And that means those 10 tribes that sort of dispersed and never came back together. Later, in 587 BC, the Babylonians came and took whoever was left and the southern kingdom into exile, and that's the exile. So, in the northern kingdom, you have Samaria, where the Samaritans worshipped at a town called Shiloh, and they had done that even before Jerusalem was conquered by King David and made the capital. And so their tradition was that you worship at Shiloh. The southern kingdom, of course, and most Israelites said, no, you worship in Jerusalem. So there's that difference. The Samaritans had a different religious tradition than the rest of Israel. That's why they were hated. That's why the Samaritans were so terrible. Remember when Jesus met the woman at the well, and she begins to talk about, well, our ancestors say this, and your ancestors say that, and what's the right way? And he said, oh, worship in spirit and in truth. So the Galileans are the northern people, the very far northern, the ones that, of whom someone said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Aren't these Galileans, these disciples? How could they be somebody to listen to? And at the same time, the Good Samaritan was such a shocker because Samaritans aren't, who's going to pay attention to Samaritans? It's kind of like the way people in our country think about Southerners. They're all stupid, slope-browed dudes that can't speak English, or the way that we might think of people from the upper Midwest who talk like this and they're weird. We have these regional differences, and those translate into regional prejudices and regional animosities. Well, it's the same thing in Jesus' day. It's taken a long time to get there, but same thing. And Jesus says, don't go there. Don't go to Galilee. Don't go to Samaria. Don't go out among the Gentiles, which is all the other people who might live somewhere. Instead, just go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And we know that's not Jesus' final word on the thing, but that's what he tells his apostles to do at that moment. So now you've had a history lesson, a little bit of geography, and we'll start Monday with talking about the different things he tells them as they get ready to go.